Hello, my stamping friends. This is Renae Novak at BlessedByCards.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States, and I'm here today to share with you another Make It Monday tutorial. Today I'm going to share with you some watercolor techniques using the watercolor pencils. And we're going to use the Cottage Rose bundle, which is in the annual 2022-2023 catalog. And we're going to use this large flower here, and then I'm going to show you some samples with the smaller flower. So let's get started. The first thing you're going to need to do is have a basic white cardstock, and I use Memento black ink for my stamping. And then you're going to need to choose what colors you want from your Stampin' Up! Watercolor pencils. And for the leaves, I'm using Granny Apple Green and Old Olive. Those are going to be for the leaves, and all of these samples, pictures of everything I'm doing, the measurements, and all the supplies that I'm using today will be available in a free download on my blog at BlessedByCards.com. So you can hop on over to my blog and download that for free. So then for one of the color palettes, I'm going to use a bunch of blues. So I like to use 4 different colors. And so I'm going to use, for the blue sample, the Bermuda Bay, the Night of Navy, Balmy Blue, and Pacific Point. And then for the more pinkish one, I'm going to use Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to use Melon Mambo, Rich Razzleberry, and Gorgeous Grape. And then for the more orangey looking flower, I'm using Calypso Coral, Cherry Cobbler, Real Red, and Pumpkin Pie. And I'm going to share with you how to blend these colors to get a really beautiful looking flower. So let's get started. Let's go ahead and do the orangish red one. And what you want to do is you want to start with your lightest color, and in this case it's Calypso Coral, and you want to kind of use the side of your pencil so that you can get nice smooth lines, but you really want to just lay down some of that Calypso Coral all over your flower. Now I'm only going to do a few petals at a time so that I can share with you all these different color palettes, and you don't have to watch me, complete the entire flowers. So you'll get the idea with just these few petals in each color. So this one is the orangish one, and we're laying down Calypso Coral. And again, start with your lightest one, and when you use the side of your pencil, you get a little bit more of a smoother look than if you get those harsh lines by actually coloring. And you want a light touch on this just to lay down that color. And then you want to use the darkest. So you're going to go from the lightest to the darkest. And in this case, that's Cherry Cobbler. So I'm getting my Cherry Cobbler, and you want to go in and you want to highlight the already lines that are shadowed on your image. And if you don't have any on the image, then you want to start from the center because you want to build your color up. So you're just going to lay down some of that dark color right on the edges where those shadows are. Okay, and that is the dark Cherry Cobbler. And then you're going to come in with the Real Red, and you're going to go right on over that Cherry Cobbler, right on top of that Cherry Cobbler, and you're going to build it up just a little bit from the Cherry Cobbler. So you're bringing your color up into your petal. And so you just are laying down with kind of a medium pressure. You can kind of see that color starting to build up. It's a little harder on the smaller petals, but you can see on these larger ones that it's kind of building up. And you can go in a circular motion if you want, or straight up and down. It really doesn't matter. Just laying down that color and blending that Cherry Cobbler with the Real Red. All right, and then you're going to come in with your last color, which is the Pumpkin Pie. And again, you're going to go right over those colors, blending them up and bringing them up to your petal. kind of giving them that orangish look. You're going right over that, blending it straight up. You can go farther up. It just depends on how big your petal is. And then you want to come back in again with your lightest color and lay down a little bit of that right on top to blend that last color in with your original base color. And that will give you a very nice looking start of a flower. Okay, so that's the orangish one. And again, I'm just doing a few petals so you don't have to watch the whole thing. So let's go ahead and do the blue one. So I'm doing the Bermuda Bay and the Night of Navy because I'm starting with the lightest, which is the Bermuda Bay. And I'm just going to lay down some of that Bermuda Bay on there, on each petal. You don't have to go all the way to the edge if you want to leave some white space on your flower. It kind of just depends on what kind of shadowing you want to do. If you want to leave a little bit of white space on the very edges of your petal. But you want to lay down that lightest color first. And then we're going to go in with the darker color, and that is Night of Navy. And I'm taking the Night of Navy, and I'm going to again come in to where the shadows are at the base of the flower, and kind of give that some definition. And if your flower, depending on which one you stamped, you might have a little bit more shower definition on the actual stamp where the darkness is. But you can build up from the petal. And you can put it as dark as you want, or, you know, it just depends on, again, the vibrance that you want for your flower. And then I'm coming in with a balmy blue, because that's the next lightest color, and I'm going to go right over that Night of Navy and bring that balmy blue up, just blending all those colors up into my petal. You do have to have a little bit of patience, and I'm going a little bit quickly here. You might want to go a little bit slower, but for the sake of the video, I'm going a little quicker. But you want to blend all those colors up. And then the last one is the Pacific Point. And you're just going to, again, blend all of those colors to give you a really vibrant looking flower. And just kind of going over all of those, bringing that color up and into the top of the petal. And then I come back in again with my lighter color, which was Bermuda Bay, and finish that tips of those petals off just to blend that last color in. And that is your blue petal flowers. And then for the last one that's a little more pinkish, we're going to start with Flirty Flamingo. I'm going to move my paper, it'll be a little easier. And I'm just going to lay down some color on that Flirty Flamingo on those petals. And then we're just going to bring in, start with the lightest, which is the Flirty Flamingo, and then we're going to bring in the darkest, which is the Gorgeous Grape. Okay, and then we're going to bring that color up, the Gorgeous Grape up on those shadows at the base of the flower. And you can move your paper around to give you the best angle to which you can color. All right, just bring it up into the color petal, bringing your color up. And then we're going to come back in with some rich raspberry. We're just going to blend that kind of pinkish purple up with the rich raspberry. Just bringing that color more vibrant center, bringing it up to the petal. And then our last color is Melon Mambo. And I'm just going to blend those pinks and purples. And depending how vibrant of purple you want your flower to look, you can always bring your Gorgeous Grape up higher. It's kind of, each flower kind of turns out differently. And then again, we'll come in with the very lightest color, which was Flirty Flamingo. And we'll do the very ends of that petal. And that gives you a very beautiful looking watercolor flower. And then for the leaves, I only used 2 colors. I used the dark old olive and the granny apple green. And again, you want to start with the lightest color. So you just lay down your color, and you can leave the tops open if you want. I come back in with the darker color, and I go on those stem lines and just bring a little bit of darkness from the bottom up. And then come back in with your granny apple green to blend that on there. And then you have some very nice looking vibrant leaves. So again, starting with a lighter color and then coming in with a darker. I like to go from the bottom up with my dark and then come back in, and it's really amazing how those leaves turn out. And that's pretty much the technique, my friends. Now, one other thing you can do, since these are watercolors, is you could add water to them, or you could use the blender pens. And the blender pens will change the look of your design. So you can bring that color and blending it all the way up to the top, which gives it a little bit more of a marker look. And so it just kind of depends on what color you like. And for the blender pens, all you have to do is just put them on some paper until they go clear, and then you can switch your color and go back in. As you can see, it changes it from the watercolor to the marker kind of look. And after you did that, you could come over here and actually use the color to create a softer look on some of these petals. So the blender pens are really great to use in conjunction with your watercolor pencils. So that is pretty much the technique. Let me show you a couple samples. Here's one that I did with the orangey, and that's all completed. And I colored the inside of the flower with Crushed Curry and Delightful Daffodil Delight. And then here's one with the purple, the purpley look. That's how that looks. Okay, and then for the smaller flower in that bundle, I did the same thing, and it does change the look of it because it is a smaller flower. This is, again, all the same colors in the blue and all the same colors in the pink. And so let me just bring in a couple of my card samples that I did. This one is using all of the orangey colors, and I stamped the greeting from Cottage Rose in the Calypso Coral and just mounted that on for the card. And then this one, I did the blues and I did the bigger flower. And again, this greeting is from Cottage Rose. So that is my Make It Monday tutorial. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. And again, this is Cottage Rose. It's in the annual catalog. It is a bundle and you can save 10%. So hop on over to my blog at BlessedByCards.com and download the free PDF for this tutorial. So again, thanks for watching, and until next time, be blessed.